going on? It's your boy Mecca here. And if you've been following along this journey of me buying my first lot, you've been realizing that I'm figuring it out, right? I don't know all the answers. And that's the point of me making this entire series is for you to see exactly what I'm doing on a weekly basis. And this past week and this week, what the focus on has been is quite frankly, being prepared to tackle a lot. And what does that mean, right? So I made an offer on a property, and I hope to give you the details here soon. But just listen to the story. So there was this property that went on the market, and this is just the open market, MLS, Zillow, Realtor. But I got a notification on my email, and it was from the realtor, and it's just like the automated emails. You give them your criteria, and then they automatically send you emails, hopefully daily, right? So I saw a property, and the rule is, you know, let's say you have a duplex that's worth 400 grand, and that's what all the duplexes in the same neighborhood is worth. Well, if you're going to buy a lot, your lot should not be worth more than 20% of the market value of the finished product. And that means that your lot shouldn't be more than 20% of that 400 grand if you plan on making it, if you plan on developing a duplex. And that's just the rule of thumb. This property that I got in my email fit that rule. So it went on the market, and then 2 days later, I saw it. Right, I saw it briefly, but I didn't think anything of it. But once I went back to go look at it, as I usually do when I'm, sitting in my office, going through my emails and just figuring out what I missed for the week, I saw it went off market, and I quickly did the comps, and I was like, "Holy crap, this works! What the heck?" And typically, any land deals that are on the market that are good, they're not going to be on there long. So once I reached out to my realtor, I asked her, "Hey, what's going on with this deal?" Um, she said that the mother listed this lot, and then all of a sudden the daughter was like, "What the heck? It's too low. We're taking it out the market. We're gonna get an appraisal." Okay, since then they got an appraisal. They thought that one price would work. I offered that price that they said that would work, and now it's like more than double what they originally asked. And it's just not going to work. But I feel that the price that they're asking for is way more than anyone's willing to buy. Everyone's gonna, make a lower offer. And I'm hoping that the fact that I was a cash buyer, my first offer was very aggressive, way too aggressive. 3-week close, 7-day due diligence, and boom, right? So what does this have to do with this series, right? Just because you're making an offer, everyone makes an offer. Well, because they asked for a certain price, which was 65 grand. Because they asked for that, I offered that because my numbers work. And then this was on a Saturday. So Monday is when I was told that they're going to list it on the market. And I thought I was going to get the deal under contract. Well, didn't happen. But because of that, I reached out to every single person I know who could help me get this thing to the finish line from start to finish, right? And what does that mean? What does that look like? How does that, if you were to get that offer accepted, what would you be doing? Well, I'll tell you, AI, right? It trust but verify, right? I rely on AI heavily, but I have to understand that it is not foolproof, but it's going to know more answers than you will ever imagine in your life. So, what does that mean, right? So, I know I'm going to need an architect because I can't close on the deal for new construction unless there is a survey and plans to build, right? The bank wants to give me money. However, I'm going to need to give the bank proof that this is what we're going to build. I've already put in the work for the build. It's not like we're going to close and figure it out. They want to make sure that you have your plans, what your idea is, figure it out before close, right? So now I know exactly going to AI, hey, I need an architect. What I want to do is I want to be as hands off and trust as many people as possible. Kind of like what I do with AI, but I am still the brain. Just because you're trusting other people doesn't mean that you're giving up power, right? Trust but verify. I've built relationships with many people over the years, knowing kind of what I want to do, but I've never been too serious. So I told AI, listen, I want to be hands off. So what do I do? Go to Gemini. I want to make sure that my architect can get from plans, handle all documents and permits up until we get to vertical. And that's where we hand it out to the GC. Draft up an email. This is what I want. This is what I expect from them. Here is our limitations, right? And I even sent the limitations based off the code that the planning department got me, right? So now we're jumping into another realm, is the planning department. The planning department are the enforcers and basically the people who let me know what we can and can't do, right? If they say we can't, then we most likely can't, unless we need to get a land attorney and have them handle that madness, right? But I don't want to, it's a duplex. I don't want to get too complicated because I have other things to worry about as well. And it just doesn't fit my time and brain space. But reached out to the planning department and told them, this is what I'm trying to do. And based off the future, the City of Lakin future land use, the Polk County 2030 plan, and also the fact that the CRA is trying to give money for properties in this area for certain things and waive impact fees and give 120% density bonus. Reach out to the planning department. I say, hey, can I do this? Can I not? And they gave me these answers, right? So I'm going quick here, but what this week really consisted of is reaching out to my team members who aren't employed by me, but they're basically, their work is from people just like me or a little bit bigger when it comes to volume, right? So reaching out to the team members that I can trust to help me build this, excuse me, to help me build wealth through real estate. And it's a beautiful thing because I'm able to also help them feed their families, help them grow their business. But the thing I learned most is just because a city has a future designated use for this lot, right? The future land use was residential high, right? Because in decades from now, that they think there's gonna be skyscrapers or they want to start building mid rises. Who knows? But that's what the use is. But just because the future use is that doesn't mean that you can buy that lot to build, a 30-unit mid rise, because the surrounding areas aren't that way. So with the future plan, the future zoning map, it might be a beautiful thing. It helps us understand, but it's more of a longer term play if the neighborhood hasn't gotten that. And in my next episode in this journey, what I'm going to talk about is infilled lots, the missing middle. Here we go. The missing middle housing that I just started reading. I'm on chapter 3, so I don't have much to tell you yet, but the missing middle, I believe, is what I want to focus on. I've had these videos, you see me start and finish, but going through this process of thinking about it a lot, I had to do a lot of research on future land use, the CRA, zoning, impact fees. I had to get everything ready to understand what my costs are going to be. And even though I might have not been perfect, right, because I got a quote for a survey, my underwriting was slightly off. These were actionable things that I've done. So in my next video, we're going to learn a little bit about future land use and how it differs from the planning and what can actually be done. Until next time, see you next week.